Hello, everybody. My name is Danny Cottle, and music is my ministry. And on this video here, I joined an atheist group on Facebook, okay? And the purpose was to get some unbiased feedback, some realistic feedback, okay? And my question was to the group, is music spiritual? Okay, so I got to be honest with you, but I always felt that spirituality and the belief in God were separate things. Okay, I never likened growing up that. You see, I did a lot of sports, and there was the fighter spirit, if you will, and what kept people going through when they wanted to give up but they didn't. They had that fight in them, that fight deep inside. I always thought that this was the spirit of man, if you will. And that's totally separate than believing that Christ died on the cross as the Son of God and was resurrected, and the gospel, if you will. Um, so when I asked, what do you think? Is this spiritual? Um, Everybody was taken back, and they thought I was a troll. They thought that I was uh, pretty much trying a subterfuge, a Trojan horse, coming in as one thing and trying to manipulate them. And that wasn't the case at all. Here's the Facebook post that I made. Okay, it's all right here. And I was open that I was a spiritual man, that I go to church, but I don't subscribe to religion. Okay. My path is with Christ, and it is with the Holy Bible here. And let me tell you about that in a second. But I want you to know that I approach this whole situation open-mindedly and with good faith. Okay? And what I mean by this, first off, is this is a sincere question about music and spirituality. Now, the reason I use the word spirituality, because the atheist community, they need to have evidence before they can believe anything. Okay. And the reason I liken music and spirituality together is because the forces that hold music together are the same forces that hold the universe together. Okay. And this is the key right here. This is the absolute focus that I have that can be tested and can be, there's evidence for these things, okay? Now, the forces are vibration, okay, resonant frequency. Everything is in a state of, nothing is at rest in the universe. Everything is in a state of movement, okay? And we know this, okay? Rhythm, okay, planets, they orbit in a specific and predictable movement. The seasons change predictably. Life and death occur naturally. And I would look at all these as uh, rhythmic phenomena in our life. And form. Nature has there's patterns that show up. There's fractal patterns. You know, you can see the swirls, the whirlpool of images, and that's the same as black holes and the shapes of the form of a snowflake, if you will. And you can see these in cymatics as well. And but all of these forces are phenomena, and this is the key. You see, phenomena are forces we can measure, but we're not quite sure what brings these forces into our reality. Now, any other question about spirituality and a belief in God isn't relevant. I will talk about it, but the questions that I was getting from the community is, give me, oh, what did they say? Give me evidence. Who created your God? Prove it. Okay. Um, okay, let me, before we go that far, okay, yeah, we don't know what we can reverse engineer these phenomena, okay, and we can create things like music, okay, and we don't know what brings these phenomena into existence. Now, I say a creator, okay, But they need proof, and I feel that I have faith because of the experiences that I have in my life. And faith is key in all of this. So, anyways, back to these questions. The first question was, who created your God, and prove it? So, I'm going to answer this because I was experiencing a mob mentality where I think we had a couple hundred comments, 250 comments that piled up in a relatively short amount of time. So, first off, I cannot prove to you God exists. Okay, that's going to be right up front. It's all based on faith. Okay, however, I personally feel that if I can only believe what is proven, if you only believe what is proven, then that's on you. Okay. I like to go out and I like to explore ideas. I like to test ideas. And I like to challenge things in my life, get big projects, and actually allow things to develop. Right or wrong, I do not doubt myself, okay? And I let the experience teach me so I can continue to learn and grow. And this helps me navigate through this world. The biggest change that I had in my life was the birth of my children. Okay, it gave me meaning and purpose. But I can't give you specific evidence of this meaning and purpose. I can show you that I had a kid. Okay, I can show you what my life, I can't even show you what my life was like before I had the kid and what my life is like after. I can't give you this evidence, you see. And a lot of people have kids and they don't find purpose and meaning in that. Okay, a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. But I think that it's silly to hinge this belief that whether you can or can't have meaning and purpose with a kid, having children. I think that it's silly to take somebody else's experience and somebody else's scientific evidence about this. It will happen when you have a kid, whether or not you find meaning and purpose. Okay? Life, in my opinion, is a relationship, a personal relationship. And my life shouldn't look like anybody else's, okay? The lessons that I've gone through and the experiences that I have, they might not apply to you, okay? There's things I went through as a kid that you might have not had gone through, but it has shaped me. And my life has shaped me, like having kids. You might not have had kids. So I can't give you this experience, so it's kind of silly for me to hinge in a belief or an acceptance of the way the universe works or the world works. So what I'm saying is that you're on your own to explore and to test this question out for yourself. And if you, in order to do this though, in just my humble opinion, don't believe me, but what I do is I usually have a desire. I always have a desire, not usually. I'm open-minded and I operate in good faith. The way I see the world changes all the time, okay? Next question. What is your definition of spirituality? Okay, this question kept getting brought up, okay? Here's my definition of spirituality. It's more of a experience of my behaviors, emotions, and thoughts, okay? Certain behaviors have led me to bad places in my life, and I'm going to go bad places because a lot of it was self-esteem, emotional instability. It was doing things that I wasn't proud of, okay? And I used people. See, when I was in a bad place, I used to use people in order to get what I wanted, okay? And this was real evident in the musical realm. And this affected me in a bad way. I was surrounded by people that they didn't really. I didn't have what was best in mind for the community. I only had what it was best in mind for me. And again, it was in the wrong place. Okay, let me put it to you like this: a good fighter has what they call the fighter spirit. And they have diligence, okay? They will keep going when others quit. But diligence, this desire to fight through when things get tough, that's the key word. And I found the virtues are the forces behind all the things that has led me to a healthy life. Now, you don't have to have a belief in God in order to look at the virtues and what they are. And I'm going to tell you what the virtues are here in a second. And you don't even have to see virtues just is a package. And when you look inside of that box or that package, you're going to find things. A lot of Christians don't even identify or know what virtues are. And this is why I'm talking about this, right? I mean, I'm trying to share and communicate these ideas. And I can only speak for myself personally, okay? Before fatherhood, I was insecure, okay? I was fearful, I was depressed, and I was without purpose. Even with music in my life, I was still without purpose. But once I took to the Bible and I discovered that the main characters all have a theme, or there's a thread, okay? In all the stories of the Bible, they used virtue in order to ascend from poverty to richness, and that's spiritual poverty to a spiritual richness. And they went from slave to a king, okay? They went from the bottom of something to the top of something. And it was all embedded in their behaviors, their emotions, and their thoughts. And I think that this was really enlightening for me, okay? So the next question, how do you know when something is spiritual? By how it feels? Is it pleasurable? Is it a pleasurable feeling? If you seek pleasurable feelings of spirituality, is that not hedonistic? Hedonistic is self-indulgent or the pursuit of pleasure, okay? So, first off, I don't believe that everything needs to be proven in order to be believed, okay? There's a lot of faith. Okay, if I'm going to go into business with somebody, we operate in good faith, and faith is the key word. Okay, I'd say that this is a spiritual thing because you have to suspend your ideas into the future, and you have to be hardworking. You have to be honest. You have to have the same vision and the same goal. It's like a marriage. So first off, I believe most people are good. Okay, not all, but most people are good. And Allison and I tested this out. Okay. We went hitchhiking across the country for 2 years, and it wasn't all that pretty. Okay, it sounds cool. And a lot of people had grace with us, a lot of family members, a lot of strangers, and a lot of people that helped us weren't Christians. Okay, and a lot of people that did help us were Christians. Okay, everybody was, when they saw us and what we were doing, and not everybody helped us, but the people that did help us were genuinely good. And I still believe that most people are good, or they've got some good in them, but we're all a little hesitant on helping strangers, right? I think people they see people as they see themselves. So, and I can't prove this to you. Again, this is faith. I don't think that I need to prove this in order to believe it. I can't give you scientific evidence of this, but if you have something to offer somebody, chances are you guys can find common ground and you can have a good relationship. Remember, good fences make good neighbors, okay? And also, and that's it. So it was, most people are good. I can't prove that to you, and good faith. In order to start a company, you need to have good faith, but you can't scientifically prove this. Okay. At some point, you have to suspend that. You have to suspend that evidence in order to have a belief, and it happens all the time in relationships too. This is the oxytocin, or love kicks in, right? And there's a trust that kicks in. Is there scientific evidence for trust? Not off the bat, for sure. And everybody changes. So my idea of spirituality is testing or exploring ideas that revolve around behavior, emotion, and thoughts. And this is where I was going to tell you about the virtues, okay? So the virtue, here are the virtues, okay? Humility, kindness, temperance, chastity, patience, charity, and diligence, okay? And real quick, um, the opposite of these are the sins, and we don't need to get involved in that too much. Again, this is a musical conversation, but it always goes to it goes to a spiritual place, but it goes to this give me evidence place. And I get wrapped up in it when this should be a musical conversation about how the things that hold music together can be tested. They are already scientifically proven, but we don't know what brings the phenomena into existence. And this is where I have faith that it comes from a creator, okay? And it might not be your interest, but it is my interest. And um, I want to keep things focused on music, and that we are connected to that. It moves us. We have a ability to perceive this as good. Nobody's going to perceive. What if you found out that that somebody had been stealing from you? Could you perceive that as good? What if somebody was hurting a loved one of yours, domestic abuse? Could you perceive that as good? You know, and what I'm saying is that we can perceive music as being good, and there's music is something that everybody affects, and and this really is the focus that I have. Okay, um, it shows me how a part of the creation. Now I have a lot of theory that I'm still trying to develop through practice, daily practice. Okay, in order for me to bring the um, in order for me to bring the theory into the practice of music, it makes me a better musician, you see. And it's the same thing with the virtues. This book here is full of things to be tested and ideas to be explored. And when you explore humility, right? Humbling yourself, when you explore kindness, kindness is easy, right? We all know what kindness is. But when you start putting this into action, it's like magic. I mean, it starts to build friendships, it starts to build communities, it starts to build your character. When you start practicing patience, being mindful about patience, being mindful about charity, diligence, or follow through, you see, you can create habits out of these. And there's no scientific proof, but there is that personal relationship. So, if you want to respond to this, or if you want to reply to anything, just do it. Comment below. Let me know what you think. I want to have the conversation. Again, I went into the atheist group with good faith because I felt that the common ground is that the things that hold music together are testable, and they are phenomena. And the part that I find interesting, and where I thought that spirituality would be a common ground, I didn't realize that they don't believe in spirituality because you can't test it. Okay, I have 250 comments that were challenging this idea, and I felt like I should make a video about it. So that's all I got.